In space, no one can hear you pet a dog. Exophobia is a new game developed by Zarc and published by PM Studios. Exophobia is a first-person Metroid-vania boomer shooter with a pixel art retro aesthetic. You wake up in a room full of the corpses of your crewmates. You pick up a power suit and an alien blaster gun and proceed into the dark corridors of the crashed I.S.A. ship. Are there any survivors, or are you the only one left? Traverse 4 maze-like floors full of powerful aliens and traps, upgrading your suit and weapon to unlock new areas and learn the truth of what really happened here. Exophobia is a fast-paced first-person shooter game with retro pixel art that really stands out. And for someone like me who grew up on pixel NES games and later on Doom, I felt right at home here. You can't look up and down, rooms don't overlap, enemies are flat textures that turn to face your direction, and the stages have that shallow depth of field so you can't see very far in front of you, just like a PS1 game. The atmosphere is mysterious and claustrophobic, and even large areas are dark and moody. But most of the levels are easy to see and navigate through. There is a nice balance here. The electronic music is less horror movie creep and more retro synthwave sci-fi. It creates an atmosphere that is tense yet strangely calming too. It becomes more exciting and driving when enemies are near. The game is a joy to play. The movement is fast and smooth, and the aiming is great on controller or keyboard and mouse. It runs at a constant frame rate, and there are settings to make the image smoother or even simulate the old CRT television. You quickly unlock a sliding dash ability that allows you to slide under fire or brambles, and you can use it to stun enemies, leaving them open to attack. It's great for taking out the close-range melee enemies and those shielded guys. You can do it very quickly with almost no cooldown. It's a little wonky at times, but it's fun to slide around and slam into things. You can even push explosive barrels without issue, but beware, it doesn't have iframes though. You can still get hurt by dashing through a laser beam. The first upgrade you get to your gun is a charge shot, which is very fun and a bit OP, killing most enemies in one shot. Later you get other upgrades like a lightning shockwave that stuns enemies for longer. These and other abilities you get will be used to solve a puzzle or get to a new area. There are save stations to charge your map. Yes, your map has battery power in this game, so you can't just stare at it for a long time. Exploring the maze-like ship will allow you to find data disks which will provide logs to read at save points, and may even give you tips on how to defeat a boss. There are upgrades you can find on the map, like permanent health increase. I recommend finding these, temporary armor shards, and 2 other upgrades like this little machine that provides a mobile floating turret. The enemies complement each other well, whether it's a red alien with a melee weapon or a shielded one with a blaster. Some will force you out of your ranged comfort zone, like these flamethrower guys who charge at you and self-destruct. There are also alien bugs, face-hugger knockoffs, and a set piece involving a giant worm. There are bosses in the game. They can kill you really fast if you're not careful, but you can also take them out quickly if you know what you're doing. I like bosses that don't overstay their welcome. This game is as much of a puzzle exploration and problem-solving game as it is a shooter. The entire ship is a maze. You will start in one floor, defeat a boss, go to another floor just to get an upgrade, and then onto a new floor that has an elevator that will allow you access to a new portion of the first floor you thought you had explored all of. There are mazes within mazes, and although you might get stuck from time to time, the developer has done a good job with the level design to show you the right way to go without holding your hand. I might suggest that they add a marker that shows you where the next main area you need to go is, but even without that, you can navigate things pretty well if you pay attention. Now for some small issues I have with the game. There are a few areas where they put enemies in some really dumb locations, like the flamethrower guys in a small hallway, or shield guys at the end of a hallway that you can't see. Most of the game is pretty balanced though. A lot of the puzzles are time-based, and there is almost no time to complete some of them. The giant worm chase is kind of long, and there is some really devious design here. It's my least favorite part of the game. There are no markers or even dialogue outside of the disc logs. This can be good or bad because you will get lost. I spent almost an hour on a puzzle involving zip lines. That's because I had to dash into exploding barrels to move them between rooms, and it's never shown that you can do that. Then I had to find the right elevator to the next floor, and it took me over 30 minutes. The solution was a little switch on the side of a very small wall. Easy to miss. I actually thought I had soft locked the game before I found the switch. You will use the same gun the whole game. You get upgrades, but there aren't many of them, so you will get a bit tired of using the same pea shooter gun. This is one game that I actually want more feature creep in. Different weapons, more variety of enemies, and I think the exploration off the beaten path could be a little bit more rewarding. I did a really hard puzzle one time and all I got was an armor shard. So far I've had almost no desire to explore other than to find the way to the next boss, continue the story, and find health upgrades so I can win. That's about it. In conclusion, Exophobia is a very good game, a bit simplistic in some aspects, and over-designed in others, yet it provides an engaging gameplay loop of shooting, exploring, and solving some satisfying puzzles. I was engaged from start to finish, and when I did get lost, I actually became even more determined to find my way through this immersive spaceship maze. The fact that most of the game was made by one person is awesome, and it represents what you can do when you choose creativity and passion first, instead of just a paycheck. I give Exophobia 4 pixelated capybara standing in a secret room in a derelict spaceship out of 5. Exophobia is a very manageable $15 right now on Steam. It's also available on current consoles, including the Switch. This is Dan T at Twisted Banana Productions, possibly the last surviving member of the I.S.A, signing off.